I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as the prison guards pinned me down, their boots grinding into my ribs while my screams echoed off the cold concrete walls of Sing Sing. Betrayed by the one person I'd trusted my whole life, my own flesh and blood. My little sister Isabella, framed for a double homicide that shattered our family and left me rotting in a cage for 5 agonizing years before the accident, in the shower sealed my fate. But as the darkness closed in, a single, impossible thought pierced the agony. This isn't how it ends. Not for me. Not after everything she stole. When my eyes snapped open, it wasn't to the fluorescent hell of the infirmary or the pearly gates of some bullshit afterlife. No. I was staring at the familiar cream-colored ceiling of my childhood bedroom in our sprawling Greenwich estate, the one with the faint water stain from that summer storm Dad never got around to fixing. My heart hammered like a jackrabbit's, and I bolted upright, sheets tangling around my legs that felt too young, too unmarked by the prison tattoos and scars. The alarm clock on my nightstand blinked 7:15 a.m. July 15th, 2018. 7 years back. Before the accident that killed Mom and Dad. Before Isabella's lies turned me into the villain of our family's obituary. I was Aurora Hale, 28 again, handed a do-over by whatever cruel cosmic joke runs the show. And this time, I wasn't playing the loyal big sister. Isabella had buried me alive once, framed me for poisoning our parents to snag the Hale fortune, the biotech empire Dad built from nothing in Silicon Valley roots transplanted to Wall Street greed. She'd whispered in the ears of lawyers, cops, even our cousins, painting me as the jealous black sheep while she played the grieving waif. But I knew her secrets now, the offshore accounts, the lover she'd bought with my future, the forged emails that sealed my conviction. This time, I'd unearth them all, twist the knife, and watch her empire of lies crumble. Revenge wasn't just sweet, it was the only justice left in a world that chews up the good and spits out the bones. I stumbled to the mirror, my reflection a ghost of the woman I'd become, sleek black hair still long and untamed, green eyes sharp but not yet hollowed by despair. My hands trembled as I touched my face, no crow's feet from endless appeals, no calluses from scrubbing prison floors. Downstairs, the house hummed with oblivious normalcy, the clink of silverware from the kitchen, Mom's laughter floating up like smoke. She was alive. They were alive. A sob caught in my throat, but I swallowed it down. No time for tears. Isabella was probably already plotting, her sweet smiles hiding the serpent's tongue. I had to move fast before the car crash on that rainy October night erased them forever. Dressing in jeans and a faded Yale hoodie, God, it felt like slipping into a stranger's skin. I descended the grand staircase, the polished oak banister cool under my palm. The Hale mansion was a monument to old money, new dreams, vaulted ceilings, abstract art from Dad's collector phase, and floor-to-steam windows overlooking the manicured lawns that stretched to Long Island Sound. Mom was at the island counter, flipping pancakes with that effortless grace, her auburn bob swinging as she hummed an old Sinatra tune. Dad buried in the Wall Street Journal, glasses perched on his nose, muttering about tariffs and tech bubbles. Morning. Sleepyhead, Mom called, sliding a plate my way, blueberry pancakes, my favorite, steam rising like a peace offering from fate. You look like you saw a ghost. Bad dream? If only she knew. I forced a smile, sliding onto the stool. Yeah, something like that. The kind where everything goes to hell. Dad chuckled without looking up, But I caught Isabella's eyes from the doorway, wide, innocent. Her blonde curls framing a face made for trust fund brunches and boardroom charm. At 25, she was the golden child, the one who'd majored in psych at Stanford just to understand people, while I'd clawed through Harvard Law, building the family firm from the ground up. "Hey, Rory," she said, voice like honey over gravel, sweet, but with that edge I'd learned to dread. She sauntered in, all yoga-tone limbs in Lululemon, planting a kiss on Mom's cheek before stealing a bite from my plate. "Missed you at the club last night. That mixer with the venture capitalists? Total snooze without my wingwoman." Wingwoman. The word twisted like a knife. In my first life, I dragged myself there after a brutal deposition, only to wake up the next day with a hangover and her emergency call about the crash. She'd been the one driving, of course, swerving to avoid a deer, but forensics later whispered whispers of tampering. Brakes failed just right. And me, hungover. Unreliable witness. Easy to discredit when the inheritance fight kicked off. Sorry.
Is.
Rough night studying precedents. I met her gaze, holding it a beat too long, searching for the flicker, the one that said she knew I suspected. Nothing.
Yet.
But I could wait. I'd waited 5 years in a cell for nothing. Breakfast blurred into small talk. Dad's latest acquisition. A neural implant startup that promised to revolutionize memory. Ironic, given my own reset. Mom fretted over the gala for the Hale Foundation. Our family's charity are masking the biotech behemoth's profits. Isabella chimed in with ideas for the silent auction, her enthusiasm a perfect veil. I nodded along, but my mind raced ahead, the safety deposit box in Manhattan where Dad kept the original wills. The one Isabella would accidentally destroy in a fire I'd take the fall for. The lover, Victor Kane, that sleazy hedge fund prick with a penthouse in Tribeca and a grudge against Dad for shorting his crypto scam. By noon, I was in my home office, the one with the wall of law tomes and a view of the infinity pool where Isabella sunbathed like a siren. Laptop open. I bypassed the family VPN, child's play with my old passwords, and dove into the shadows of the web. Dark pools of data. Encrypted emails I'd memorized from prison letters I'd bribed guards to smuggle.
Victores alias Fnight 72.
A quick trace. And there it was, a thread from 6 months from now. In my timeline, plotting the distraction, the crash, the frame, the payout. My fingers flew over the keys, drafting an anonymous tip to the SEC about Victor's insider trading. Not enough to bury him yet, but a pebble in his shoe. Then, a call to my old PI contact. Marty, voicemail. But I'd cash in that favor soon. Every move had to be chess, not checkers. Exposed too soon. And Isabella would pivot, her psych degree making her a master of gaslighting. The afternoon sun dipped low, casting the room in amber, when Isabella knocked. "Rory, dinner's Chinese takeout, your fave sesame chicken." "Come down." I closed the laptop, heart steady now. "On my way." As I passed her in the hall, our shoulders brushed, electric, like touching a live wire. She smiled, but I saw it, the microsecond hesitation. Did she sense it? The shift in the air. Like ozone before a storm? That night, sleep evaded me. I lay in bed, replaying the trial in my head, the jury's averted eyes as Isabella testified, tears streaming. Aurora was always so jealous. "Your Honor." She hated how Dad trusted me more. Lies layered on lies. Until the gavel fell like a guillotine.
But now?
I had the transcripts in my blood, the appeals denied echoing in my veins. Tomorrow, I'd start with the brakes, get the car inspected under some pretext, plant the seed of doubt without tipping my hand. Dawn broke gray and drizzly, the kind of Connecticut morning that promised secrets. I was Aurora Hale,
Reborn in fire.
and Isabella? She was about to learn what happens when you burn a phoenix's wings. The game was on, and this time, I wrote the rules. The next week unfolded like a taut wire. Every conversation laced with subtext only I could decode. Mom noticed my intensity, as she called it, prescribing chamomile tea and a spa day that I dodged with fabricated deadlines.
Dad.
Buried in board meetings, barely registered the change, bless his oblivious heart. Isabella, though, she watched me like a hawk eyeing a field mouse, her smiles tightening at the edges during our forced sisterly brunches at the club. I started small. A casual mention over mimosas at the Greenwich Country Club, the air thick with the scent of fresh-cut grass and old money. Hey?
Ease.
You ever think about getting the Tesla checked? Dad's been pushing that autonomous driving upgrade, but those brakes feel a little spongy to me. Her fork paused midair, shrimp skewered like a shish kebab of suspicion. Spongy?
Nah.
It's fine.
Why?
You paranoid or something. Paranoid. The word hung there, a trial balloon. In my first life, I dismissed it. Too trusting. Too eager to mend fences after our post-college rift over Dad's favoritism. She'd always been the charmer. The one who got the leniency for shoplifting at 16. The internship at Goldman because she had potential.
Me?
The grinder. The one who inherited his work ethic, but none of the warmth. Just saying, I shrugged, sipping my orange juice like it was hemlock. Better safe than sorry. Remember that crash last year on the Merit? Total write-off. Her laugh was a tinkling bell, but brittle. You're such a worrier.
Rory.
Always have been. We clinked glasses. But my mind cataloged Victor's texts I'd hacked via a burner app, time-stamped for a service appointment on the Tesla 2 weeks out. Plenty of time to swap parts. Stage the fail. Back home, I escalated. Marty called back that evening, his gravelly Brooklyn accent crackling through the line from his PI hole-in-the-wall in Queens. Aurora Hale? Jesus.
Kid.
You sound like you swallowed a ghost. What's the gig? Off the record.
Marty.
Family stuff. I paced the solarium, ferns brushing my arms like accusatory fingers. Run a deep dive on Victor Kane. Everything affairs, finance, skeletons. And Isabella. Discreet. A pause. Then a low whistle. Your sister's boy toy? That's dynamite. You sure you want to light this fuse? I didn't hire you to counsel.
Marty.
Just do it.
Click.
The line went dead. But not before I heard his chuckle, half amusement, half pity. He didn't know the half of it. By Friday, the first crack showed. Dad called a family dinner rare. These days, with his travel schedule and oversteak au poivre at the formal dining table, he dropped the bomb. We're accelerating the estate planning. With the IPO looming, Hale Bio needs ironclad succession. Aurora, you'll handle the trusts. Isabella, the foundation ops. Her face froze mid-chew, fork hovering like a guillotine blade. Dad, I thought. Rory's swamped with litigation. I could take more on the trusts. I've been studying fiduciary law online. Online.
Right.
In my timeline, That study translated to cozying up to the family lawyer, forging addendums that bypassed me entirely. I jumped in smooth as silk. Appreciate the vote.
Ease.
But I've got this. Trusts are my wheelhouse. Remember that merger last year? Bulletproof. Dad nodded, pride flickering in his eyes. The kind he'd lavished on her in life, too. She recovered with a pout that would melt glaciers. Fine. But don't burn out. Big sis. We need you.
We.
As if she hadn't plotted my exit solo. That night, insomnia hit like a freight train. I slipped into Dad's study. The room a sanctum of leather-bound ledgers and a humidor of Cubans he never smoked. The safe combination his wedding date, June 14th, 92, yielded the originals, wills crisp as new bills. Naming me primary executor. Isabella secondary, with strings attached till 35. No wonder she'd torched copies in that basement flood. I snapped photos on my phone, encrypted them to a ghost drive. Evidence. My new religion. Saturday brought the spa day Mom insisted on, Swedish massage at the Miraval in Norwalk. Steam rooms thick with eucalyptus and estrogen. Isabella arrived late, blaming traffic, her phone buzzing incessantly under her towel. Victor. No doubt. While she meditated, I borrowed her unlocked device, sisterly trust. Right? And mirrored her data to my cloud. Jackpot. Deleted threads with V. Night 72. Blueprints for a contingency involving antifreeze in the garage. Mom's favorite. For the crash cleanup. Poisoning traces to pin on me. The stress lawyer, with access to chems from Hale Bio's labs. Rage boiled low. A simmer, not a boil. I returned the phone none the wiser, joining her in the sauna, where sweat beaded like guilty confessions. You okay?
Ease.
Look tense. She waved it off, steam curling around her like a shroud. Just. Dad's announcement. Feels like old times. You know, you always the star.
Star.
In her narrative, I was the eclipsing sun. We're a team, I lied. The words ash on my tongue. Always will be. Marty's report landed Monday. An encrypted PDF that made my coffee curdle. Victor. Bankrupt 3 times over. Daddy's boy turned Ponzi prince. Entangled with Isabella since her junior year abroad in London, where she'd discovered her entrepreneurial spirit. Affairs? Plural. A trail from escorts to insiders. But the kicker, a mole in Hale Bio, feeding him proprietary neural tech formulas. Isabella's access? Foundation grants masked R&D leaks. The betrayal wasn't just blood, it was empire deep. I debated going nuclear, anonymous leak to Dad. Watch the dominoes fall. But no, too clean.
Too quick.
Revenge needed savor. The slow burn of realization. Instead, I scheduled a girls' trip to the city, Victor's turf.
Tribeca loft crawl, pitched over lunch.
Clear our heads before the gala. Her eyes lit, trap sprung. Love it. Vic's got this killer spot, views for days.
Beak.
Intimate. We Ubered in that afternoon. Manhattan's pulse syncing with my own. Honking taxis. Steam from manhole covers. The electric hum of ambition. Victor's penthouse was glass and chrome. A bachelor's wet dream overlooking the Hudson. Art installments that screamed, I have money and no taste. He greeted us in bespoke slacks. That shark smile plastered on, shaking my hand with fingers like limp sausages. Aurora. Isabella's told me so much.
Lies.
In Timeline 1, he testified against me, perjuring for a plea on his own fraud. Pleasure's mine.
Beak.
I air-kissed Isabella, noting the love bite peeking from her collar. Classy. Cocktails flowed, his signature Negronis. Heavy on the gin and conversation veered to business. Heard Hale Bio's killing it with memory implants. Any scoops? I sipped. Eyes over the rim. Classified. But Dad's succession plan? That's public soon. Trusts locked tight. A probe. Testing waters. Isabella shifted, laughing it off. Rory's the gatekeeper. I'm just the heart and soul type. Victor leaned in, cologne assaulting like bad intent. Gatekeepers get tired. Ever think of diversifying? The hook. I dangled bait. Depends. Got a pitch. He did, vague. Vaporware about synergies with his fund. I played intrigued, dropping just enough Hale jargon to hook him deeper. By night's end, as Isabella dozed in the guest room, I cornered him on the balcony, city lights winking like conspirators. Cut the shit, Victor. I know about the leaks. And the contingency with my sister. Bluff half true. But his blanch was priceless, sweat beading despite the chill. What the? Aurora. You're drunk. Stone sober. Walk away from her. Or I torture House of Cards. SEC's already sniffing. Partial truth. My tip had cued an audit. He sputtered, ego inflating like a punctured lung. You think you're untouchable? Isabella's got plans. Plans that end with you in cuffs. I stepped closer. Voice low thunder. Choose. Her sinking ship or your freedom. He chose wrong, lashing out with a grab for my arm. Sloppy drunk. I twisted free. Knee to groin. Law school self-defense paying dividends. He crumpled, gasping. And I was gone before he straightened, Uber summoning like magic. Back in Greenwich by dawn. Adrenaline crashing. I crashed too, sleep claiming me in fits. Dreams of the crash, twisted metal. Sirens wailing. Isabella's crocodile tears at my arraignment. Woke to text her. Bubbly check-in. Him. Deleted in panic. The wire tightened. Midweek. The gala loomed, black tie affair at the Metropolitan. Hale Foundation's crown jewel. Mom buzzed with checklists. Dad with donors. Isabella cornered me in the foyer. Eyes stormy. What the hell did you say to Vic? He's ghosting me. Beats me. Innocent blink. Maybe he's just busy laundering. Regrets. Her slap came fast, palm stinging my cheek, the crack echoing like Judgment Day. Mom rushed in, horrified, but I held up a hand. It's fine. Sisters, right? Not anymore. That night, alone in my room, I wired Marty the next play. Tell Victor. Document the panic. And Isabella? I'd leak a concern to Dad, anonymously. Of course, about Foundation irregularities. Slow poison. The gala dress hung like armor, emerald silk, hugging curves I'd forgotten I had. Mirror me looked lethal, ready for war in sequins. As we piled into the limo, Isabella beside me, silent fury radiating. I whispered, "Game on, little sis." She didn't reply. But her eyes, they promised hell.
Good.
Mine did too. The Met's temple of Dender shimmered under chandeliers like stars trapped in Egyptian stone. The air alive with clinking flutes and whispers of deals in the shadows. Donors in tuxes and gowns swirled like sharks in a feeding frenzy. Hale Bio's neural tech demos, holographic brain scans pulsing blue, drawing oohs and ahs. I navigated it like a pro, champagne in hand, charming the venture vultures while keeping Isabella in my peripheral, her laughter too loud, her glances daggers. Dad pulled me aside mid-evening, his breath scotch-tinged. Proud of you.
Kid.
Trusts are airtight, your work. A bear hug, rare as hen's teeth. Mom beamed from across the room, arm in arm with the senator. For heartbeat, it was perfect, family unbroken. Future mine. Then Victor slunk in, uninvited. His tie askew, eyes bloodshot. Isabella spotted him first, color draining from her face as he beelined for the bar. I intercepted, casual as a cocktail napkin.
Beak.
Didn't expect you crashing the party. He reeked of desperation. Voice a hiss. You bitch. That SEC bullshit? It's bullshit. But Isabella's flipping, says you're out to get us.
Us.
The slip confirmed it all. Out to get you. Maybe. Walk away. Or I drop the hammer. Leaks. The affair. The break job you greenlit. Fabricated that last. But his flinch sold it. He grabbed my wrist. Hard enough to bruise. You think you're smart? She's got dirt on you. That bar fight in law school. The pills you popped after Mom's scare. One call. And a flash. Security detail. Dad's hired muscle. Materializing like genies. I yanked free. Voice steady. Touch me again. And it's assault charges. Enjoy the audit. He slunk off, tail between legs. But not before shooting Isabella a text I glimpsed later. She's onto us. End it now. End it. The crash was weeks away, but panic accelerated timelines. I texted Marty, double down. Photos.
Now.
Then, to Dad's assistant, urgent, review foundation grants for irregularities. A non-source. The pebble became a boulder. Isabella cornered me in the ladies' lounge, marble echoing our standoff. What did you do? Vic's losing it. Says you're threatening him. Threats? From me. I reapplied lipstick. Steady hand. Maybe he's just allergic to sunlight. Or truth. Her eyes narrowed. Psych major dissecting. You've changed. Rory.
Cold.
Calculating. What's your angle? The whole pie. Dad's empire. Mom's jewels? The accusation landed like a gut punch, echoing the trial. Her sobs on the stand. But this time, I fired back. My angle? Surviving you. I know.
Is.
The accounts in Cayman. The forgeries. Crash coming breaks. Poison. All to bury me. Silence stretched. Her face a mass cracking. You're insane. Paranoid delusions. I'll get you help. Help. Like the therapy she'd pushed pre-trial, drugging my sessions to muddy my defense. I laughed, low and bitter. Try it. See how far your charm gets you when the feds knock. She lunged, nails raking my arm, a feral scratch that drew pinpricks of blood. I shoved her back, heels skidding on tile. Touch me again.
And it's over.
For you. We emerged disheveled, smiles plastered for the crowd. But the rift yawned wide. Mom noticed, fretting later in the limo. Girls, what's wrong? You two used to be inseparable. Inseparable.
Till ambition kliver US.
Just gala stress, Isabella chirped. But her hand trembled on mine, alliance fracturing. Home by midnight. I patched the scratches, adrenaline morphing to strategy. Marty's dossier expanded. Photos of Victor meeting a mechanic in a Jersey chop shop. Antifreeze cans in his trunk. Isabella's emails to a notary. Backdated, will tweaks. I forwarded snippets to the family lawyer. CCNG myself as consultant. No names, just concerns. Let the pros unravel. Tuesday brought fallout. Dad's office call. Voice clipped. Aurora. We have a situation. Foundation audits, irregular grants to questionable entities. And Victor Kane? SEC's freezing his assets. Any insight? Insight. The word dripped irony. Told you he was shady.
Dad.
As for the foundation, look closer at approvals. Isabella's sign-offs. A pause. Heavy as lead. Your sister?
No.
Can't be. Check the ledgers. For me.
Click.
Seed planted. Isabella exploded that night, storming my room. iPad in hand, screenshots of my leaks. You fucking traitor. Dad's questioning me now. After everything I covered for you. That DUI in college. The affair with your professor. Affair? News to me, fabricated. No doubt. Her contingency smear. Covered? You mean blackmailed. I know the crash.
Is.
October 12th. Rainy night. Dear my ass. Her laugh was unhinged. Blonde locks wild. Prove it. You're the one with the temper. Remember pushing that intern? One word. And you're the monster. Monster. The mirror of her narrative. I stood, towering in the lamplight. I'm done being your scapegoat. Confess. Or I drag you down with Victor. She spat, literal venom hitting my cheek. Over my dead body. Famous last words. The week blurred into confrontation chess. Victor vanished, rumor had it. Fleeing to Dubai, but his trail scorched Isabella. Dad froze her foundation access. Pending review, his disappointment a silent guillotine. Mom mediated tearful talks. But I held firm, distance, documentation. Then, the decision that haunted me, the controversial pivot. Marty uncovered the mole, not just Victor, but cousin Theo, Dad's nephew, in on the leaks for a cut.
Theo.
The family man with 3 kids and a Hamptons mortgage. Expose him, and the Hale empire wobbled, stock dip, investor flight. Protect him, and mercy became complicity. I chose the gray, anonymous tip to internal affairs, letting HR discover his emails. Clean hands, dirty conscience. It ate at me, betrayal begetting betrayal, but survival demanded it. Aurora 2.0 wasn't saintly. She was scorched earth. October crept in, leaves turning blood red like omens. The crash date loomed, but I'd swapped the Tesla for a loaner Audi, citing maintenance. Isabella fumed. Her plots derailed. Desperation peaked, a midnight call from her. Slurred.
Rory.
Vic's gone. Dad hates me. What do you want? Your confession. I recorded it. Voice steady. On tape.
Now. Sobs.
Then whispers. Fine. The breaks. I paid the guy. Poison in the wine, your flask. To frame you. Inheritance. It was mine. Rory. You took everything. Dad's time. Mom's love. Everything. The wound reopened. Our childhood. Me the shadow to her son. You took my life.
Click.
Evidence gold. Dawn broke on the 12th. Rain lashing windows like accusations. Dad summoned us to the study, grim, flanked by lawyers. Girls. The evidence is damning. Isabella. The foundation.
The.
Tampering. Her collapse was theatrical, knees buckling, wails for mercy. But I stood tall, playing the shocked sibling. Dad. I suspected, but hoped I was wrong. The arrest came swift, cuffs clicking like karma. Victor extradited from a UAE layover. Cousin Theo resigned for health reasons, his kids' tuition secured by my silent bargain. Controversial? Hell yes, family fractured. Headlines screaming, Hail heiress scandal, betrayal in the boardroom. Mom clung to me, shattered but grateful. How did you know? Aurora? Lucky guess. Lie tasted like victory. As sirens faded, Isabella's glare from the squad car burned, hate pure, promising sequels. But I was free. Reborn. Yet the twist lingered. A shadow in my gut. During the raid, Marty's file spat one more secret. The crash? Not just greed. Isabella's motive ran deeper, a paternity test, buried in her emails. Dad wasn't hers. Mom's affair. A one-night blur in Paris. She'd killed to claim a throne that was never blood.
Blood.
The ultimate betrayal. Mine ran true, hers. Diluted deceit. November's chill settled over Greenwich like a shroud, the mansion echoing with absence, Isabella's room stripped by feds. Her perfumes lingering like ghosts. The headline cycled. Hail Empire rocks. Daughters plot for poison and power. Talk shows dissected it. Pundits crowing about sibling rivalry gone toxic. My face blurred in stock photos as the surviving sister. I fielded calls from reporters, stonewalling with no comment. But inside, elation warred with wreckage. Dad rebuilt. Leaner, me at the helm. Trusts fortified. IPOs soaring on the scandal's transparency bump. Mom healed slow. Therapy sessions where she confessed her Paris lapse. Tears for the daughter she'd lost to ambition's maw. I should have seen it. Aurora. The favoritism. It poisoned us all. Poison. The word echoed. But forgiveness came in fragments. Hugs in the kitchen. Shared silences on the veranda watching sound sunsets. I told her fragments of my dream. Premonitions that saved us, spinning it as maternal intuition. Lies layered, but necessary sutures. Victor's trial was a circus. Perjury piled on fraud. His testimony crumbling like cheap drywall. She made me, he whined, finger jabbing at absent Isabella. But the recordings, my ace, sealed him. 20 years. No parole. Cousin Theo slunk to obscurity. A quiet settlement buying his silence. My controversial pact intact. Mercy or Machiavelli? The line blurred. But the empire stood. Isabella's case dragged into winter. Pretrial motions a slog of delays. I visited once, through plexiglass at Rikers. Her orange jumpsuit a far cry from Lululemon chic. Eyes hollowed. Curls hacked short. She pressed the receiver like a lifeline. You won, Rory. Happy. Happy? The question hollowed me. Justice isn't joy.
Is.
It's balance. She sneered. Venom undimmed. Balance? You rigged it, hacks. Tips. That PI scum. And the paternity? You knew. Twists echo. I'd buried that file deep. A mercy kill. Doesn't change the blood we shared. Or the hell you wrought. Her laugh cracked. Brittle as ice. Shared? I was the spare. Mom's mistake. Dad's pity project. The crash. It was mercy for all of us. Mercy. Delusion's crown. Rot in it. Then, I hung up, the click final as a gavel. Spring thawed the grounds. Hail bio blooming anew, neural implants hitting market. Whispers of Nobel nods for Dad's vision. I dated cautiously, a prosecutor from the DA's office. Sharp jaw and sharper wit, dinners where I tested vulnerability, sharing sanitized scars. Family drama, I'd say, and he'd nod.
No praying.
Normalcy.
Tentative.
But nightmares persisted. The shower blades. Blood slick. Isabella's trial smirk. Rebirth's cost. Trust eviscerated. Decisions haunting. The controversial ones gnawed deepest. Sparing Theo. Dooming Victor without a whisper of Isabella's bastardy. Had I become her? Ruthless architect? Climax crash Memorial Day weekend. A donor retreat at the Hamptons estate. Fireworks boomed over the dunes. Guests toasting resilience. I slipped away to the beach. Waves crashing like unresolved chords. When my phone buzzed, unknown number. Aurora Hale? Voice muffled. Feminine. Your sister's cellmate. She talks in sleep. Names. Plans. Escape plot. Mid-transfer next week. Bribe to guard. Targets you. First. Then the family. Chill wind-whipped. Why tell me? Payback. She framed me once.
2.
Check the docket. July 20th. Transport from Rikers to Attica.
Click.
Heart slamming. I bolted to the house. Commandeering Dad's study. Docket search. Confirmed. Transfer date. Isabella's psych eval. Manipulative. High escape risk. Understatement. The choice loomed. Controversial apex. Warn authorities. Risk her vanishing into witness protection shadows. Or bait the trap.
Confront the serpent head-on.
Vengeance whispered the latter. End it personally. No loose ends. I chose the dark, anonymous tip to the U.S. Marshals. Laced with details only an insider knew. Her alias. Draw points from hacked prison chatter. Then, the gambit, a letter smuggled via the cellmate. My words bait. I know the truth.
Is.
The blood test. Meet me post-escape. Neutral ground. Closure. Transfer day dawned muggy. Me in a tailspin pacing the estate. .38 in my purse, lawyer's permit. Post-trauma perk. News alerts pinged. Convoy ambush. Hale murder suspect flees. Chaos. Overturned van on the Taconic. Shots fired.
Guard down.
Isabella free. Ghost in the wind. Hours stretched eternal. Marty on speed dial. Feds looped in blind. Dusk fell blood orange when the call came. Not her. But sirens. Suspect in custody. Tip led us straight. Rooftop in Yonkers. Bag packed for Canada. Relief flooded. Sour with regret. I danced with devils. Orchestrated from shadows. At the station. Through one-way glass. She sat cuffed. Defiance cracked. Bruises from the takedown. Eyes meeting mine like she saw through the mirror. You, she mouthed. No sound. But the accusation thrummed. Trial 2 was swift. Escape added decades. Life without. Victor rolled over for leniency, spilling guts on their partnership.
God sin theo det stifit på de fan.
His shame a sideshow. I took the stand once, calm, clinical. She chose this path.
I chose survival.
Jury deliberated hours. Verdict the murmur. Guilty. All counts. As bailiffs led her away, our eyes locked one last, hers pleading,
Ministerial.
Goodbye, sister. Summer peaked in heatwave haze. The mansion alive again. Barbecues with Mom's new book club. Dad's retirement whispers.
Y él me da le bio solo.
Implants saving lives, erasing traumas. Ironically,
My own.
faded scars, but etched deep. Twist's coda came autumn. A manila envelope postmarked nowhere, the paternity test, and signed. She was yours. Always. Forgive? And Mom? No. Her confession complete. Isabella. From her cell? A final twist. Owning the lie that birthed her hate. I burned it on the beach. Flames devouring paper. Ashes scattering on tides. Forgiveness? Not yet. But peace? In the empire rebuilt. Family mended, yes.
Aurora Hale.
Twice born. Walked into winter unbroken. Revenge's fire forged me, not ash, but alloy. Stronger. And in America's relentless churn, that was victory enough.